Hi, it's Bhikkhuni Vimala, and it's Tuesday, June the 2nd. It's really going to be hot today here in Crystal Lake and in northern Illinois, but it's kind of hot all over the country. It's a little crazy, okay? I think all of us can safely say that's not an understatement of what's going on. Especially in this country, we're not used to having rioting all at the same time going on while we're still not even at the tail end of a pandemic. So it's a new experience for all of us, and I know everybody's reacting differently, and depending on where you're living, you're having a different experience. But I do believe this is the time, if you're going to have anxiety, this is going to be it, because we're in the midst of something that will be chronicled in history, I think. It's hard to know what to say. I feel like we all need to be looking at ourselves very deeply and realize whatever our emotions are, it's okay. We're all having a mixture, I know, of strong emotions, anxiety, fear, confusion. What should we be doing? What do we have lots of choices to make. But if you're a student of meditation, and if we believe in loving kindness, if we believe in the concepts of peace and calm leads to insight and wisdom, I think what we have to look at is, what are we radiating out into the world? What are we putting out into the world? Is it fear? Is it peace? Is it kindness? And when I talk about kindness, metta, I'm not talking about, I like some people and I really treat them well, but there are others who I disdain and my hatred for them shows. This is where we have to look really deep into our practices. Whatever our life practices are, what gets us through the day, what we believe in, whether we call it a spiritual path or just the path of our life from day to day, we have to really use this really confusing, difficult time to look deep and to see what we're doing to either solve the problem or continue to be part of the problem. And I think for a lot of us, we just have to keep digging pretty deep, because we think I know we're good people, most of us, and the people I feel like are probably watching me, listening to me, we're good people, and our intentions are often the best. So what is down deep? What are we actually radiating out to the world? What are the messages? What are the messages that we have learned over our lifetimes that are still in us, causing us to have a hard time really living fearlessly in the world, in peace, and radiating calm, radiating kindness, having an open heart, listening? It's not a time to start blaming others. I will say, in all fairness, I feel like we don't have leadership in this country at the very top that's helping. This is when we need to have a strong, wise leader helping create peace, and not working to cause more violence. And so we can't, instead of going out and fighting a revolution, I think we have to go within and fight that revolution within ourselves. I have to say something. I thought, no, I won't say this because it's going to somebody might misunderstand me, but what's very strange, I think, about Buddhism in America, in our Theravada and most of our Mahayana traditions, our teachers, a lot of our teachers are the monks who come from Asia, and most of our teachers are black. They're people of color, and I know that there is definitely a different attitude we have towards them than we have to people who are born in this country who are black people or people of color. And I think that's so amazing. I don't see our Buddhism attracting a lot of people of color other than Asian people, because it's part of their cultural heritage, and so that's their religion in their mother country. So I think somewhere there's something we're not getting. Somewhere there's something where our jails are full of immigrants who have been detained, who the people at the top of the country are trying to get out of this country. And now it looks like we're trying to create enough anger and frustration without any leadership guiding us in how to handle this safely, that we're trying to also get rid of another color of Americans who have been here, who built this country, and whose backs we're still standing on to keep this country running. So this is a kind of craziness that I think the only thing we can start with is going within ourselves and see what's deep within us and where our true feelings are, and who are we still having anger towards and hatred towards and enmity towards, and who are the people in our society that we're fearful of, and what can we do then to help ourselves overcome those either prejudices or tendencies or deep-seated feelings that we're not even aware of yet. How can we help ourselves, and then how can we help change this society? Something's got to change, right? And when the dust settles, can we go back to just being, are we going to go back to being, aren't we happy that we can all go back to work and all spend more money and be hugging everybody and being with our friends, and let's just forget about everything that's happened what's been happening the last week in this country is an unbelievable lesson in the teachings of the Buddha. Because even with the pandemic, even with staying at home and wearing our mask and social distancing, we're so good for our length of patience may have been 2 months, and things are starting to be okay. We're in stage 1 or 2 or 3 now, and we're moving probably prematurely, but there are economic reasons why we need to move and open up things again. And then just as we're beginning to do that, at the very beginnings, not that the pandemic is over, we have something come totally out of left field and just explode in our faces. And the Buddha's teachings of impermanence and everything is always changing have been, if they haven't been proven to all of us studying his teachings, we're not going to get it in this lifetime. So we are dealing with just the way the Buddha described the world. This is what we have to be dealing with all the time. But I also think every time these things come up and smack us in the gut, it's an opportunity for us to have, it's more than a teaching moment, we come up against something that just hits us and wants to knock us down. And we have to find in that an opportunity to go deeper in our own practice, to go deeper into our own mind and see, let those things come up, let them spend more time. I'd recommend to everybody, if you're anxious and this is throwing you off kilter like it's doing to people all over the world, actually, are getting caught up in America's situation. This is creating a lot of fear. Other countries are used to seeing us as the good guys. They're used to seeing us as a power that would be there to help them when they needed it. And that's not who we are anymore. So we have to use this as a way to look deeply. We've got to purify ourselves first. We've got to see what have we done that has been part of the problem rather than part of the transition, the transformation of our society. It's easy to be critical of others, and we've got to go deeper than that. We've got to go deeper and look at, okay, what is there that we can see, we can change, and what is it about our society? In what's happening with the people in this country? Why are we rejecting our own people? And we've got to all work on trying to find out what the answer is to that, and see what it is that we can do to make a difference. I don't have the answers. So if you have questions or if you have some answers, please feel free to share, and I'll be happy to try and share your comments in talks, or if you have questions. I think it's a really good idea if we keep a dialogue going. It's very important. And right now our churches and our temples are closed, so we have to use these different vehicles that we have right at our fingertips, like Zoom and Facebook Live, and different ways we can connect face to face with people and have these discussions. But they need to also be discussions that are fueled by our own introspection and contemplation and meditation and prayer. We have to be not just throwing out the criticisms of others, we have to be looking deeply. So if you've been inspired by someone, if you've heard something that's helped you think of a way to move forward in a helpful way, in a way that can bring peace to you, but also not finding that peace by burying our heads in the sand. It's good that we need to share it. So if you have suggestions, please let me know. You can send a message to me on Facebook Messenger, or if you have my email, you can send something to me there, or just here on Facebook when we're together. I'll go through your messages, and we can talk about those. We can think of ways, new systems, new ways to heal, and to help those, and always be trying to help other beings, to help them in their healing. But always we have to begin with ourselves, or our sincerity will limit what we can do to just the mere motions. So let's sit, because I know we all need to find that way to get into ourselves. We need to find that way to calm down. And I know I've been saying this, staying at home has been really lovely for me. It's helped me in my practice. It's helped me in my studies. It's helped me bring peace. And this latest This latest is, I'm feeling some of the feelings that I know a lot of you have been feeling. There's anxiety, and there's concern, and there's deep sadness and despair. And I can always come back with my practice and with introspection. I can come back to a place of peace, and I hope you can too. But I know then we are in that peaceful state for a while, and thinking, okay, what can I do? And then we listen to the news, and we can go spiraling down. So be very careful about the news you take in. Be aware of what's going on, but please don't watch violent images over and over. It may be better not to be watching as much as listening, and listening to voices that are being honest, but are not trying to focus on the violence and the bizarre and repeating it over and over. Please be careful about that. And please be careful how you're talking to your children. And we don't want to lie to our children, but if they see the anxiety in us, that creates anxiety in them. So we can be careful and good parents in talking to them about our concerns and our worries, but we have to be very careful that you're not transmitting anger or fear or anxiety to our little ones. They belong to all of us, remember? So some of you have been entrusted right now with the care of the little ones, and they're very precious to all of us. They're going to be the ones who save us. So take care of all the people you love, and recognize that we're all facing this confusion, and some people react to that confusion with anger, and that's their fear. It's always the underlying cause of all of this is fear. So try and remember that. And try and not compare yourselves to someone who's out rioting and looting on the streets. Try not to say, well, they should know better than that, or that's not helping, because we don't know that we don't live with the fear, perhaps, that some of those people live with day to day. And we may have a more shallow understanding of the entire problem that we need to study. We need to sit with our hearts and minds and look at that. So now what I can do to help is to help you keep coming back to your breath and keep calm, knowing that the first step for transforming any situation is to be able to become calm, to listen to our hearts, and then we have to be listening to the hearts and minds of others. Not think for them, and not try to tell them how they should be, but to listen and we have to start all over. So close your eyes, unless you're comfortable with your eyes open, just relaxing and not focusing intensely on something. It's kind of that half mask, lowered, open eye. Or closing your eyes if that's how you've been trained and feel comfortable with that. Just be with your breath. We all need this. Breathe in the cleansing air and breathe out breathe out the fear, breathe out the anxiety. and breathe in the fresh air, the clean air. Let it clean your body. Put your hand on your belly so you can feel the gentle rise and fall, knowing that this is healing. Breathing is healing. When people are yelling and shouting, they're not breathing. They're breathing out anger and fear. And when they breathe in, they're just gasping in the top of their lungs. Just, you can imagine it. It really becomes the same type of reaction as complete fear does when it overwhelms us. So now, just allow your body to heal. Breathing in and out through your nostrils if you can. Feeling the air down in your belly. Even if you're focusing just around your nostrils, let your hands sit on your belly so you can feel in your body that air reaching down all the way through your core. It's okay if you feel tears. But as you exhale, let your shoulders drop. We really have to work on our breath, getting all the way in, all the way down, below the fear. Find your breath down in your belly. Soothing your entire body. Allowing you to relax. I'm sure many of you are still just feeling the tension, but just keep letting it go. Let it go. Let it go. Breathe in fresh, clean air. Feel it in your belly. And as you exhale, let some of that fear leave. Let it go. Breathe in. As you exhale, let the fear go. Let the tightness go. Maybe the tears flow. That's okay. We have to keep coming back to ourselves to know who we are. We have an opportunity to change the world by changing ourselves. That means learning how to become calm, move out of our heads, into our hearts. Send loving kindness to yourself, to your fears, to your anxiety, to your anger. Send that kindness, that loving attention to your confusion. Right now we have to embrace ourselves. And I think that's the only way we armor ourselves. We have to know who we are. We have to know how to keep coming back to the very best of us, the best in us. We have to know how to keep touching into our Buddha nature, our Christ consciousness, whatever we want to call it. We have to keep coming back and seeing the best in us and seeing how we're capable of being calm and unafraid, fearless, courageous, determined, kind and patient, forbearing. These are all the qualities of a warrior in this world, a spiritual warrior, a human being warrior. All these qualities that we think of as being part of our Buddha nature or our Christ nature. They're all the qualities that we have, and we know how to touch into them to be peacemakers. But anger, which is just what's swimming around above the fear, is right there ready to lash out. It's not a good protector. So send loving thoughts to yourself, kind thoughts to yourself. Accept the fears and difficulties you have. Accept that. That's also part of being human. That's part of our nature. But we know our core is Buddha nature. So we know we can come back to that and just keep starting over. And now send that out, radiate out that quality of forgiveness, of peace, of calm, of kindness, of loving kindness, of goodwill. And we have to now think of our loved ones. I think we're going to have to increase to including all of the beings in this country, first of all. All the human beings suffering. We have to take in everyone as our brothers and our sisters and our mothers and fathers and our children. If our own children are hurting or acting out, we don't immediately reject them. Our first urge is to find out what's hurting, what's happened. What can we as parents do? If anyone in our family is hurting, we try to help. We try to find out what's wrong, what's the matter. This is what we have to begin to do with our entire country, our entire family in this nation. What's happening? Where is this pain coming from? Where is all the fear and anger? Why have we become a country of haves and have-nots? How are we perpetuating that? How as an individual, am I perpetuating this system? It's this broken system in our country. So radiate out. What we can radiate out right now is our goodwill, our good intentions, our resolve, our right resolve. That we will transform what we need to transform within ourselves. We will work to transform our family, this country, and all of our brothers and sisters and children and parents and relatives and close friends. And this is our big family. We've got to take care of this family. So we have to start by radiating out this quality of goodwill, and calm and peace. May everything we do today and every day be done for the benefit of all sentient beings, ourselves included. But now we have to really see this bigger picture. It's much bigger than we think. Every day, be a little better. Every day, try to see a little deeper into yourself and into the world and the people around you. And of course, don't forget all of the living creatures, all of nature that we've discovered over the last few months, and all of the peace many of us have felt as we've pulled back, kind of hunkered down, and now we're just exploding out. Who would have known this is how a lot of people would get out of the house from being quarantined and hunkering down. So thank you for listening to me. Please, please reach out. Please reach out if you have any thoughts or questions to me. Please reach out to your friends and see if there's anything you can do to help them. Be a peacemaker. Don't get into conversations that are going to lead to anger or armchair politics and who can we blame and who's at fault. And please don't do that. This is not a time to try to analyze a situation that we probably don't deeply understand. It's a time for action, and for us that action needs to be go within, see what's going on within yourself, try to work with that, and then in any way you can reach out completely peacefully and with calm and offering help, offering love, offering kindness. Okay, I'll talk to you again Thursday morning. So much love to all of you. Thank you for being here for me.